fix your mind on God alone. Rest your thoughts in God alone. And in God you will live hereafter. Of this there is no doubt. May all beings everywhere be happy and free from suffering and enjoy this practice of our senses. May we acquire a strong desire for liberation from pain and suffering. And may we cherish no ill feelings against each other, only peace, love, joy, and compassion. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So now let's do the mantra, the Om Namah Shivaya mantra, which means I bow to the inner light. Do some pranayama. So we'll just do the main breathing, alternate nostril breathing. We'll do the count of 3, 12, 6 for this time. So we're breathing in through the active nostril for 3. During the inhale, you inflate the lungs, you raise the chest. You hold the breath for 12. During the breath retention, you apply the throats in a root lock. For the root lock, you lift the pelvic floor. You imagine you're engaging all the muscles, the root muscles, and pulling up towards the navel. And then you bring your chin up. During your breath attention, your chest is raised. You bring your chin on your chest, the tongue to the roof of the mouth behind the teeth. You bring the attention to the space between the eyebrows through the breath retention. And then you exhale through the less active side, and then back through the less active side. On the inhale, hold the breath, apply the throat to root lock, the third eye attention, and out through the active again. So left hand, Yana Mudra, second finger and thumb tips connected, other three fingers extended on the left knee. Right hand, second, third fingers fall down to the palm. This is a Vishnu Mudra. Once you turn the palm towards you, it's no longer Vishnu Mudra. It's a mudra that we use for the pranayama. The thumb for the right nostril and the right ring finger for the left nostril. You always use your right hand. So I'll guide you through it. First, we find the active nostril. So block off the right nostril first with the right thumb. Inhale and out through the left. And then we close the left side with the right ring finger. Inhale and exhale for the right, through the right. Whichever side feels more open is your active side. If you feel exactly the same, just default to the left side for the active. My right side seems to be the more active one, so that's what I'll demonstrate with as my active side. So sitting very tall and straight. Left hand on the left knee. Let's begin by exhaling, emptying the lungs completely. Then closing off the less active side. Inhale through the active. 2, 3. Hold the breath for 12. 2, 3, 4. Throat lock, root lock, third eye tension. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Exhale through the less active side. Release the locks. 3, 4. Completely empty by the end of the 6 counts. 6. Inhale through the less active side. 3, hold the breath, third eye attention again. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Exhale through the active side. 2, 3, 4. Completely empty again by the 6 count. 6. Inhale, fill up as much as you can through 3 counts. Lift the chest. Then hold the breath, third eye attention, hold for 12 counts. Everything stops. All the mind fluctuations, the body movements, and the emotions are as though they're frozen. 10, 11, 12. Exhale through the less active side. 2, evenly and steadily. 4, 5, 6. Inhale through the less active side. 3, hold the breath for 12. 10, 11, 12. Exhale out through the active side. 3, release the locks. 5, 6, continue on your own. 3, 12, 6. Remember to keep the back straight by keeping your chest up. You can prolong the breath by slowing down the count. Breathe, do the practice according to your condition, according to your capacity. And ease yourself in the breath. This is just a taste of it, so you can do, and maybe you consider incorporating this into your practice, into your daily routine. Try for at least 12 cycles, and from there you can increase bit by bit. every week or every second week or so. Keep your attention at the space between your eyebrows and the breath retention. Control the mind, or the mind will control you. Like the postures, the concentration takes practice. Next time you exhale out of the active side, conclude. Take your time, ensure that you do the full cycle. And once you're done, you can just sit quietly with both hands in Yana Mudra. Keeping your eyes closed, just be the witness, watching the body, watching even the breath within the body, having no concern as to what you observe. It's just unseated meditation. Be unconcerned, unjudging as to what activity is going on in the mind. And through the practice, eventually the restlessness of the mind dissipates. Or restlessness causes desires. Desires cause attachments. Attachments ultimately lead to suffering. And yoga, the first sutra of yoga, is a cessation of those mind fluctuations. So now let's continue to put that into practice through our physical practice. Try as much as possible, keep the temperament the same, whether the body is moving or held in stillness in the postures. Try to remain unchanging, undisturbed. Let's begin now. Let's come to standing. So we're going to start off by charging the body up with the earth's energy. Separate the feet about 10 inches. Bring the arms up over the head. From the soles of the feet, inhale, pull the earth's energy right up through the body to the fingertips. 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep filling up. 6, 7, 8. Holding all the attention, the breath at the fingertips. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale all the way back down. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale again. Imagine you're being flooded by the earth's energy. It's coming right up through the body. 3, 4. Feel it rising up and charging you up. 7, 8. Holding it all at the fingertips. Hold the breath. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale all the way back down. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Last time. Use your attention to attract all the energy up, right to the fingertips. Keep filling up. Then hold the breath. Hold all the energy at the fingertips. Hold the breath there as well. Exhale all the way back down. 2, 3, 4. Feel fully charged. 6, 7, 8. And just take advantage of that energy throughout the class, throughout the practice. Bring the hands down now. And we'll continue with warm-ups. So just continue to be the witness, watching the body move all its body itself. Start to swing from side to side. Feel as though the arms are very heavy. Allow the arms just roll themselves around the body. faster with the shoulders. Feel as though the arms are dead. And just allow the head to just go in every direction. And then start to slow it down. And then land your hands on the hips, circle the head. Try to make as large circles as possible. As though the head were so heavy, it was just couldn't stay on this pivot point at the top of the neck. Just rolls all the way around it. Try to see the floor in all directions as you take the head around. And then switch the direction of rotation. Perhaps the chin will come onto the chest, the ears to the shoulders, the back of the head to the top of the back. All right, and now keep the left hand on the hip. If you have any shoulder issues, you can keep your left hand on your right shoulder. Swing the right arm forward for 4 times. And then go backwards for 4. And again, forward. Feel as though you're holding a weight in your right hand. And back again. And then the other arm, left arm forward. And backwards. Make as though you're about to throw a ball. Winding up. And change direction again. And then release. Now bring the arms up over the head. Take hold of the opposite elbows and bend to your left. Come up, go to the right. Try not to make any folds in the underside of the body. Come up again, go to your left. And go to your right. And then coming back up. And then start to make little circles, tracing circles over the head. Mostly just the head, neck, and shoulders to start. And then just make the circles larger. Add in the chest and the upper back. And if you feel apt to do so, circle the whole trunk. Use a down swing to give you momentum to carry through the circle smoothly. And come all the way up. And then, again, circles, opposite direction, starting off small. Head, neck, and shoulders. The hips stay still. And then the upper back and the chest come into the movements. And finally, the whole trunk circles. Trace large circles in front of the body. And then coming back up. And then release. From here, we're going to shake out the wrists. Feel as though you had no control over the hands. The hands are moving all by themselves. Fingers moving as rapidly as possible. And then up and down. Can even do little circles. Fling the arms, the fingers the other way. Good. Now take the arms out if you like. You can do work with hip joints now. You can hang on to something, a wall or a chair, and swing the right leg up and back and forth. Make as though you look as though you're about to kick yourself in the head from behind. Lean forwards and get the shoulder right to the knee. Again, do according to your condition, so you can slow it down if you need to. And then the other leg. And then release. Okay, so one more, toe presses. Stand your feet close together, bring the arms up, turn the palms up. Inhale, lift up off the heels. Exhale, come down onto your heels, lift the toes, rock back, and then come forward again, push into the roots of your toes, rise up, and back down. Press up as though you're trying to push the ceiling right through the roof, and down, and up, and down. One more time, inhale, lift up. This time, stay there. Keep pushing up through the heels of your palms. Feel the navel hollowing out and getting longer and longer. heels down slowly. Release the arms. So now let's come to the front of the mat. Do a few rounds of Surya Namaskara. Bring the hands to the heart. Imagine the light and the warmth of the sun streaming down on you. Think of that as the wisdom and the love of God permeating you. And send it out to all beings everywhere. Renounce all the fruits of the practice. Imagine this as your divine duty to all beings everywhere. Raise your arms up over the head. Reach up and back, hips forward. And then come forward and down. Bend your knees if you need to. Bring hands flat on the ground. Chest on the thighs. Right foot back. Lower the knee down. Sit down to the seat. Gazing up. Shoulders back. Come into high plank. Lower down the knees and bring the seat all the way back behind your heels. Now pull the floor towards you as you roll forward and up into cobra. Take the seat all the way back behind your heels again 2 more times. Brush your nose to the ground as you come forward. Glide forward, hips come between your hands, shoulders come back, the head over the seat. And all the way back. You can do a little bit, you can make the movements a little bit smaller if you need to, according again to how your body feels. Into cobra and then back into downward facing dog with the seat up and back, and allow the heart to mount towards the ground. Move to the hands and bring the right foot forward. If it's too much, if you can't get the foot there easily, you lower the back knee. The foot still doesn't make it close, you use your right hand to assist the foot forward. Sink down to the seat. Then bring the feet back together, chest on the thighs, head down. Rise up to standing. Pull your arms up over the head. Hands back to the heart. Reach up, engage your buttocks and your upper back as you move back to support you in the movement. Pull the body down. Again, chest on your thighs, head down, hands to the ground. Left foot back, sink down to the seat. Legs in the front of the body. Come into high plank. Lower the knees and bring the seat all the way back again. Glide forward. As you glide forward, the toes flatten on the ground. Rise up. Open up the throat and the chest. All the way back again. Come forward. Tug at the floor with the arms as though you're trying to pull the floor towards you. This will help to propel you forward with more ease and power. And all the way back one more time. Come forward. Move like a snake, creeping through the grass. Raise a head, peer out at the world. Roll over your toes, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Hollow out the back body, soften the line of the back. And then bring the left foot forward to the hands. Again, bring the knee down if you need to first. And then bring the feet back together, chest on the thighs, head down. Come all the way up to standing, reach up and back. Hands back to the heart. Don't worry about the breath, just move the body in a way that feels natural. And then just move the body, the breath will figure it out. Right foot back, knee down, lift the head and gaze into high plank, lower down. And then the breath will help to deliver ease and grace to the movements. Take the head all the way back, roll over your toes, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Lift the seat up and back. Then bring the foot forward quietly to the hands. Feet together. Try to move in a way that is graceful, that is pleasing to watch the witness. Raise your arms up and back. Hands back to the heart. And again, come up. Imagine that God, who resides within, is watching everything. So move in a way that's pleasing and that won't jar the witness. Left foot back into the high plank. Lower down knees, chest, forehead. So no jerky motions, no aggressive, hard movements or loud sounds. And all the way back into downward facing dog. Left foot steps forward to the hands, sink down to the seat. Feet come together, bow to the legs, a gesture of humbleness. Come right up to standing, reach up and back. Hands back to the heart. Raise your arms over the head. And go down. Now from here, bend your knees, bring your chest on your thighs, join hands behind the back. Telescope the chest further forward. Use the body to push against the legs. Try to get your seat over your heels, the forehead to the shins. Pull the hands over the head if you can. If you lift your seat up a little bit more, you can continue to push with your body against the legs. You might feel a stretch in the backs of the legs a little bit more. Then release the hands, right foot back. Lower the knee down, sink down to the seat. Kapiyasana, bring your arms up. Sink the shoulders, pull your arms back behind the ears. Stretch back, lean back away from the leg. And then come back up. Plant your hands. If you feel comfortable, you can come swing the left leg all the way up into three-legged dog. If not, just come into plank position. Then come forward. If you're a three-legged dog, shoulders over the fingertips, glue the elbows to the sides of the body and lower your chest down. At any point, you can lower the knee down at the same time if it becomes too hard to sustain it. And come up into Cobra. Back into Adho Mukha Svanasana. Lift the seat up and back. Raise the right leg up. And then move the shoulders forward over the fingertips so you can land the foot more softly between your hands, not like a big heavy thud. Lower the knee down, sink down to the seat. Raise your arms up over the head again, Kapiyasana. If you can, pull the hands together, index fingers point, and reach back behind. And then come back up. Plant your hands down and step the left foot in to meet the right. Again, chest on your thighs, join your hands behind the back, and push the belly into your legs, forehead to the shins if you can get your legs straight. And then release, bring your arms up over the head. Reach up in a gesture of divine surrender to divine grace within. Hands back to the heart. Reach up and back. Arch back as you see fit. Pull the body down into Uttanasana. Chest again, lands on your thighs, join your hands together. Telescope the chest forward, and again, pull the body down. Try to plunge the head towards the earth. Feel as though the top of the head could touch the feet at any second. And then release. Bring the hands down, the left foot back. Lower the knee down, sink down to the seat. Raise your arms up over the head. Keep your seats nice and low towards your front heel to keep the balance as you really lean back into your crescent moon. Radiate your inner light like a moonlight radiates the light of the sun. Then coming right back up. Plant your hands, again, either plank or swing your right leg all the way up and back into three-legged dog. Come forward, shoulders over the fingertips. Again, glue the elbows to the sides of the body, come down, and then the chest comes down first, and then the legs fall right through into Cobra. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Lift the seat up and back. Left leg up. Transition gracefully through between the forms. Feel as though you're a shapeshifter, moving effortlessly from one form to the next. Sink down to the seat. Raise your arms up. Eventually all the forms merge together. We are all one. Arms back over the head, Kapiyasana. And then come back home. Hands. And from the feet, step the right foot in to meet the left. Belly on your thighs, Uttanasana. Balance the legs, a gesture of deep humility. In every pose, reflect surrender, devotion. Raise your arms up over the head. Feel as though this is your divine dance of devotion to God. Bring the hands back to the heart. Another variation, reach the arms up over the head. Come forward and down into Uttanasana. Good. Now from here, plant the hands, come into, you can either hop or walk back into Chaturanga. So press into your hands, and then bend your elbows as you go back so you don't land with a big jarring motion. And then through to Cobra, if you can, lift your hips and knees up away from the ground. And feel here, you can bend the toes under if you like to make it easier. Just try to bend back. Imagine you have a hinge right at the tops of your thighs. And bring your body, your upper body back. Your nose up towards the sky like you're howling at the moon like a dog. Now roll over your toes, round your back. Make your way into downward facing dog. Here, you're just trying to do the same kind of thing. Hollow out the back body. Try to get your chest close to the ground. Shoulders melt and come closer to the ground. Very flexible. Try to get the top of the head to the ground. Maybe the forehead, nose, or the chin too. If you have lots of flexibility. Move again according to condition. Now be like a dog who's loyal to its master. Imitate that lower. Just show that loyalty. And now lift the heels, bend the knees up between your hands. Bring your feet forward, hopping or walking. Pull the body down onto your legs. Come right up to stand and reach up and back. Bring the hands back to the heart. And one more time. Raise your arms up over the head. Arch back. Keep on stretching. Create space.
approaching your true nature, which is boundless, formless, limitlessness potential. Lift the head and chest, press into your hands. Again, smoothly come back into chaturanga, hopping or walking. Through into upward facing dog or cobra. Shoulders back, make sure you don't lose your neck. And then roll over your toes. We're going to oscillate between these two forms. Downward facing dog, melt the heart. Roll over your toes, round your back as you make the transition. Then uncoil gracefully into upward facing dog. Telescope the neck out of the shoulders, the trunk out of the hips. At the same time, roll around your back into downward facing dog, melt the heart. And one more time, roll over your toes into upward facing dog. Hips to the hands, chest forward and up, head back. Round your back, tuck the chin in, downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in here. Exhale. Melts in every sense of the word. And then lift the heels, bend the knees between your hands. Bring your feet forward. Floating or walking. Pull the body down onto your legs. Uttanasana. Come right to standing. Reach up, arch back. And bring the hands back to the heart. Take pause here for a moment. From the solar plexus, source of inner power. Inhale up to the space between the eyebrows. Send all your power up there to empower others who are feeling weak, who need that power, who benefit from it. Exhale back down to the solar plexus. Coming back to that source. Inhale again. Pull it right up again. Even more of your power up to the space in the eyebrows. Make it available to all beings. Exhale back down to the solar plexus. Keep that channel ever feeding the source at the top for all beings. And release. So now we're going to move into some postures now. Balance poses. Starting off with ballet pose. Standing on your left foot. If you need to, you can stand against the wall. If you're having trouble keeping a balance, take your heel from the inside, the right heel, and see if you can raise your arm and the leg at the same time. You try to get your toes and your fingers on the same line. So it might look more like a T, or if more flexible, move the foot closer to the shoulder, lean to your left a little bit. Pull the leg up higher. Good. Now from here, move the foot forward in front. Take your left hand to your left hip. Bend your knee if you need to. Take the big toe with your two peace fingers and your thumb and push through the base of the toe. Push through the heart up and see if you can lean back a little bit. If this is too much, you can just take hold of the knee and push it into your chest. Push the belly towards the thigh if you can. If you feel comfortable, you can lean back a little bit here. Allow the shoulders to fall back. And then come back up and place the foot down. Try it on the other side, standing firm on the right foot. Pick a point of focus. Sometimes it helps the balance on the floor, maybe 3 feet in front. And take your leg up. Open up through the chest. If you have good balance, look up. Exude the grace and the magnificence of a dancer. Imagine you're a star performer in a show. Good. Every pose and offering reflected through all your postures. Revere them all. Good. Now move the foot towards the center a little bit. Right hand on the right hip. Bend your knee. And take hold of the big toe with your two peace fingers again if you can. Push through the base of the toes. And then so you can lean back a little bit. You need to soften the right knee a little bit. Push the chest up, arch your back a little bit. Again, take the modification, take hold of your knee. If you'd rather. And then break the pose, come back down. So now we're going to come to the back end of the mat. Starting off by bringing your arms up over the head. Join hands together in Kali Mudra and then bring the left foot forward. If it's too much to hold your hands, you can just keep your arms parallel. Hinge at the hips and until you're about level, your hands are level with the hips. And then bend into your left knee, bring your right leg up. Warrior 3. Straight line from the toes all the way to the fingertips. You can also take arms out to the side. If you're having trouble, you can take your fingertips, index fingers down to the ground. Imagine you're lying on a table. Those who want to proceed a little bit further, interlace your fingers, open up the palms, and dive down a little bit. You can bend your left leg a little bit so you can bring your belly onto your thigh, and see if you can pull the right leg up higher, and the hands come over your shoulders. Toppling tree. Feels like you're falling towards the toes. Try to get the foot higher than the head, and make sure you point the toes to make it look pretty. Good, now release the hands. Drop your left hand down to the ground, stay on the fingertips. Turn to the right, Ardha Chandrasana, so you can raise the right leg up higher. If this is too much, you can always lower down onto your knee. Okay, and do it from here, if you can't touch the ground easily. Okay, now from here. Lengthen the side body, you can bend the knee, take hold of the foot, and pull on the foot. Try to get the foot away, just try to push the foot away from the seat. Open up, try to get your right shoulder and your right hip to align on top of the left shoulder and hip. You can stay here if you want to challenge yourself with a balance. You can look forward, roll the right hip down, and see if you can take your hand to the heart. Maybe even your foot to your other hand to the foot. According to your comfort level and your ability. And from here, release. Pull the foot in, soften the left knee, and come back up. Okay, so try again on the other side. Raise your arms up over the head. Join your hands if you can. Step the right foot forward and hinge at the hips. Bend the right knee and then send your left foot up. Again, take whatever modification with your arms you like. Out like an airplane, it's a little bit easier to balance. And if you're struggling, just bring your fingertips to the ground. Whatever happens, again, just do your best. Don't worry about the results. Let go of all expectations. Just think of this always as an offering to God and to all beings. You can either stay there or bring your hands behind the back, interlace the fingers, or keep them open. You don't even have to join the hands together. Bend your right knee a little bit so you can bring your belly on your thigh. And see if you can raise the left leg up a little bit higher. Pull the hands over your shoulders, toppling tree. Smooth curve along the back body. Now release the hands. Bring the right hand down to the ground from the right foot. And push into your fingertips. Turn to your left. Raise the left foot up higher. Try to turn sideways completely. Shoulders and hips stacked on top of one another. Remember, you can come down onto your knee if you're having trouble reaching the ground, if you don't have a block to assist you. And then here, if you like, you can take the foot, you can do this on your knee as well. Push the foot away from the seat. You should feel sort of like you're doing a bow pose, standing asana. Then if you want to proceed, again, go further. Roll the hip down a little bit, look forward, and see if you can take the right hand to the heart. If you feel comfortable, you can see if you can reach your right hand to the foot and take both hands to the foot. And then pull heel in towards the seat, land the right hand back down, and left foot comes back down, and stand back up. So now we're going to come stand in the middle of the mat. Bring the fingers in line with your shoulders. Straight line, and jump your feet out like a star. We're going to go to the left, so if when you turn you're facing away from the camera, you can't see the camera, you just jump around 180 degrees. Change your stance around. And here, if you can, lower the seat a little bit more so you can get your knee over the toe. Dharma likes this version here. Get a sense of purpose, forward movement. Exude the confidence and the determination and leadership of the warrior. Now bring the right arm up to meet the left.
Virabhadrasana 1. Take the head back, look up. And with this pose, express the utmost devotion. Warriors are very devoted to the people. If you can't turn your hip all the way, you can lift your back heel, spin on the toes, and then lift up. Now from here, press into the front foot, and then see you can straighten your leg, bring your body up. You might need to move the back foot in a little bit, turn the toes forward so you can square off the hips. Take the hands behind the back. Pull the hands down, lift the chest, bring the head back. Exhale, dive down. Try to land your belly on your thigh and bring the arms over the head. Bow to the leg. You can bend your knee if you need to a little bit so you can rest your belly on your thigh. And keep on trying to get your chest to go beyond your knee. Now you can stay here or humble warrior. If you like, bend your left knee so it's right angle, slide your right foot back, extend through the crown, and then come down. See if you can bring the forehead to the ground. You can equally bring the knee down on the back leg if you like to make it a little bit easier to get your head down. Express humility in this pose. Surrender yourself to service to all beings. Stay in that humble mindset. Break the pose, bring the hands down, right hand down beside your head, and lift up. Lower the knee down. Sink the seat all the way down. Bring the left hand to your left knee, the right hand slides to the back leg. Curve the side body. Keep your seat very low to keep your balance. Try to take all the folds out of the side body, the waist, bring the left arm up if you like. Reach back. A beautiful line from hip joint all the way to the fingertips. Now you can stay like this if you like, or you can maybe bring the back foot up, swan. If you can take the foot, bring the foot up close to the shoulder, you can reach across the front with your left hand and just place the foot so it lands in the crook of the arm, the fingers close to the ear. And you do this so that when you like, if you like, you bend your left arm and just find the fingers more easily. Then push the foot away from the shoulder. Take out the sharp crease in the elbow joint. Think of a swan's neck, graceful lines. If you can't take the binds, you can just do whatever you can. And then release, bring the foot down. Now from here, turn to face forward. Left foot moves out to the long edge of the mat. From here, slide the right toes back and then fall to the right. Try to get the right forearm and the right hip to anchor down. And roll to your left, get your left forearm down. If you can't come down, if it's too much, then bring your forearms down, stay on your hands. Keep telescoping your chest forward. Now feel as though you're very heavy through the hips. Think of the cobra where your hips are anchored down. And then eventually maybe the pelvis will land down, the belly will follow. And just sink your heart down between your elbows, and maybe your chest will come right down. Feel like a lizard sunning itself on the warm earth. Make sure your knee stays close to shoulder. Make sure it's not popping out to the side. Push your left foot out a little bit further if you need to. Keep lengthening, draw the head forward. Do any variations that you know. Come back onto your hands. Move your hips back. Move your left foot a little bit to the middle, more towards the middle. Lift the toes. And then here, bow to leg, Adho Hanumanasana. Your shoulder right beside your knee on the other side of the leg. Maybe the forearms come right down to the ground. Now you can stay here. This is where your edge is, or come back into lunge, sink your seat forward. And perhaps you can slide your heel forward, coming into Hanumanasana. So you try to walk your hands back close to the hips so that your body can be more upright, your shoulders over the hips. And then you pulse. Imagine with the inhale, you're trying to pull the mat, squeeze the mat between your heels, between your feet. Exhale, you're stretching the mat with your feet. through the toes of the back foot and the heel of the front foot. If you're all the way down, you can maybe lift your arms up and pull your arms up and back. Express the faithfulness of devotion and the courage of Hanuman, all those qualities embodied in you. They already exist in you. And then from here, release, bring the hands down. From here, push into your fingertips, slide your left foot back so that the foot is underneath the knee. Bend the toes under the back foot. I'll do it this way, in this angle. Raise your right arm up and angle the toe and the knee towards the right. See if you can dive down to the left. You want to have the armpit sitting on the outside of the knee. The elbow comes down the space underneath the knee. Left hand on top of the right, either flat or Nanjali Mudra or fist. A little bit easier, push down with your fist into your hands. And then the belly comes up higher in the thigh, and then continue push against the outside of the knee. Bring the center of the chest forward towards the thumbs. Roll the left shoulder all the way back and pull the left hip back at the same time. Inhale. Reach out through the hip, reach forward through the crown. Exhale, turn. If you can, take the back knee up off the ground. If you know how to take the bind, go ahead. You want to get your arm really down onto the leg, the elbow in the space underneath the knee, and use your left hand to guide the hand underneath the leg and underneath your belly. Then the left arm goes over the back, and you lock the fingers together, hold the left wrist with the right hand. Pull the left shoulder all the way back. Should look eventually like you're lying on your back. Keep tugging on that arm to get yourself a little bit deeper into the twist. Now from here, release. Bring the hands back down. And then from here, step your left foot back. You can either slide back and just stay like this in your Vasisthasana, or move your left foot all the way back, cross your left ankle with the right. Push your hips forward. Open up through the heart. Feel as though you're being a kite, like a kite being blown from behind. Make sure you don't drop into your shoulder. Keep your right arm fully extended. And then go to the other side. So come back into plank position. I personally like to go back into downward facing dog so your hips are high already. Left hand comes in front of your left shoulder. Cross your ankles and come into your Vasisthasana. Again, you can take the right foot forward a little bit, flat on the ground. If that's easier for you, make sure again you don't drop into your shoulder. Keep your neck long, your arm fully extended. Push your hips forward and then arch back a little bit if you like. By every movement, expressing your devotion and your surrender to divine grace. Back into downward facing dog. Spin back here. Breathe in. Breathe out. Now I'm going to step the left foot forward to the hands and spin on your feet, face along edge of the mat, and come all the way back up into star, preparing to go to the other side. Again, you can jump 180 degrees around to face the camera again if you need to, and then sink down through the seat. Get nice and low, stay long and strong. The consciousness of the warrior. From here, bring the left hand forward up to meet the right. You can keep your hands apart. You can also spin the back heel on the toes, bring the back heel up. Make sure you don't sag through the knee. But of course, if you need to, you can lower your knee down to the ground. Again, modify according to your condition. But in every pose, just have a mighty warrior heart. Be strong. Courageous, be devoted. Now from here, bend into the front knee, lean towards front foot, and push into your foot to straighten the front leg. Adjust your feet if you need to. You can square, so you can square off your hips. Right hip moves back, left hip moves forward. Join the hands behind the back. Inhale, pull the hands down, lift the chest, bring the head back. Exhale, come back forward, hinge at the hips, and
See if you can bow to the front leg. Bend your right knee if you need to a little bit, so you can rest your belly on your thigh. And start to pull your hands over your head. Try to creep your chest forward. Lengthen the back body, the spine. Gesture of humbleness. With your head down, your eyes downcast. Now you can stay here or move into humble warrior. Bend your front knee, slide your left foot back, and allow your body head to go to your left a little bit so your shoulder can slide down the inside of the knee. And then you can maybe take your forehead to the ground. Lower the left knee down if you need to. Just keep watching the body moving. Continue to be the witness and see everything out of the perspective of God, who sees everything with unconditional love and non-judgment. And now release the pose. From the pose, bring your hands to the ground and your left back knee comes down. Bring your seat all the way forward, right hand to the right knee. Left hand slides towards the back foot. Arch the back, pull the body up, lift the ribs and the rib cage. So pretend you're Mussolini, the shape of Mussolini with a big chest, puffing it up. Now you can stay here, you can bring the right arm over the head. Beautiful lines here, no sharp bends in your arms, so that you find a graceful line. And if you like, swan pose, bring the left foot up towards the shoulder, you lean towards the shoulder, take the foot in your right hand momentarily so you can place it into your left arm securely, the fingers close to the ear of the left hand, and then when the right hand bends down towards the hand, you can find the fingers more easily. And then push the foot into the forearm and see if you can push the foot away from the shoulder. Break the pose, bring the foot close to the shoulder and let it back down. From here, move forward. So I'm going to do in this direction here. So if you have your foot too close to your, too inward, the knee might fall out away from the shoulder. You want to have your knee in line with the foot. So move the foot out a little bit so that the knee and the heel are in the same line. Again, rock to your left. See if you can get your left hip and the left forearm to come down. Rock to the right to even out the hips. If you're very low, if your hips are anchored down, maybe the pelvis will come down and then your belly will come down. If you're lower, if you can get lower, you can bring your arms to the outside of the foot to create more space to come down flat eventually on your chest. Now be like a lizard sunning yourself on a warm earth. Try to put yourself in a body of what you're representing. Imagine where they find themselves at ease and come to that same place. Any variations here, go ahead. Now come back onto your hands. From here, hinge your seat back. Move back this way so you can see. Ardha Hanumanasana. So you bow to your leg. May the forearms come down, your elbow, your shoulder comes down right beside your right knee on the outside. Take your attention to the base of the spine and feel the spine growing longer and longer out of that source. Now you can stay here if this is already giving you, you're feeling you're already at the edge of your potential, or hinge your seat forward and then start to slide the right foot forward. Try not to have the right hip way from the other. So you have to pull the left hip forward, align the hips, and then walk your hands back alongside your hips. And then here, pulse mindfully. And maybe eventually, if you can get your seat right down, you can bring the arms up. This pose says anything is possible. Think about all the feats of Hanuman. He jumped right over the island of Sri Lanka to rescue his master's wife. Imagine yourself accomplishing great feats,
the fierce determination, the devotion, and the mindset that anything is possible. And break the pose. Bring the hands back down. From here, bend the toes under the back foot, push into your fingertips and slide the right foot back underneath, so the heel's underneath the knee. Legs are like a box, left arm up, and then ankle the toe and the knee towards the left. You can take your elbow down, and then bring the right hand onto your left, form a fist with your right hand if you like, and push your body up. Notice how the belly comes higher in the thigh, and then roll the right shoulder all the way back. Pull the right hip back, the head forward. If this is all too much, if you found it was too much on the other side, you can stay upright. Left hand to the outside of the knee, right hand to your seat, and just turn, stay upright. Okay? Otherwise, if you had more advanced practice, you can take the bind, pull the seat back, and then make sure the elbow's in the space underneath the knee so that you can clear your hand through. The right arm goes over the back, lock the fingers together, or take your right wrist with your left hand. And then so you can bring the knee up off the ground. Push through the base of the toes. Make sure your line stays long from the heel all the way to the crown. Inhale, lengthen, pull the right hip back. Exhale, turn your face and your chest up. And from here, release. Bring your left hand down. Vasisthasana. So you can do the same variation as you did before with your right foot just in front and stay up with your left arm extended. If you need to, you can bring your left knee down onto the ground with the right foot back. This is another variation. Or you go into your Vasisthasana, your full Vasisthasana with your legs crossed. Of course, if you know other variations, go ahead. You can slide your right toes back alongside your left knee. Push your hip up, slide your left foot in so your foot is 45 degrees. You can get your base of the big toe on the ground. This gives you the stability. If your left foot is flat and you push into your left hand, you might be able to take your right knee up more easily, maybe even the foot. Again, if you're comfortable with variation, you can go ahead. Otherwise, just stay in the other forms. And then release. Come back into downward facing, into plank and then downward facing dog. And try it on the other side. Move the right hand more to the middle and spin towards your left ankle cross over the right. Or if you want to move into other variations or modifications, go ahead. The right knee on the ground. You push your hip forward. If you want to do the wild thing, you slide your left toes back. Shorten your stance a little bit. Turn the right foot at 45 degrees. Push your hip all the way up. Just feel like you're doing an upward facing bow. Make sure you don't drop into your right shoulder. Then you can take your knee up more easily. And then eventually the foot, if you have the reach. Keep pushing through the base of the big toe. Break the pose. Come back into downward facing dog. Breathe in. Breathe out. Walk the right foot between the hands. Spin on your feet. Face the long edge of the mat. Come all the way up. Good. Now from here, turning this way here. Easy Chakrasana since we're here. Point the heels inwards, the toes outwards. Place your hands on your seat. And from here, bend your knees a little bit like you're sitting, like you're about to sit on a horse. Push the hands into the seat and pull down at the same time. Push your chest up, allow the head to drop back if you feel comfortable. Then you can slide one hand at a time down the backs of the legs, holding just underneath the knees. So you have good control here. You can roll the thighs outwards and the shins inwards at the same time. Keep pushing the heels, your palms into the backs of the legs, and see if you can straighten out your legs a little bit more. Push your hips forward and up. Advanced practitioners, options, you can walk your hands down all the way to your feet.
Sleep your fingers underneath your heels, or if your head's close to the ground, you can see the floor easily. You can take one hand down and then the other hand into Urdhva Dhanurasana. Make sure you feel comfortable. Again, don't go to a place of distress. Don't go to a place of pain, so you don't transmit this negativity. Now coming back up, if you're in Urdhva Dhanurasana, bring one hand back to the leg, push into the back of the knee, push your hips forward, your knees forward a little bit over your toes, and then the other hand. And then the rest of us all together walk our hands back up if you're on the legs. Push into the seat, come all the way back up. Arms out to the side, and then jump the feet back together. Stand into Tadasana, tall, unshakable, and immovable like a mountain. And unshakable in your devotion to the practice. Good. From the base of the spine, inhale all the way up to the crown. Imagine at the summit of the mountain, exhale back down to the base of the spine, the base of the mountain remains solid and unshakable through and through. And your love for all beings. Good. Now come down. Shilshasana is next. If you need a modification, you can just start in child's pose, and then from here, push your seat up over your knees. If you find there's too much pressure for the back and the neck, you can move your head forward a little bit. So you can stay in this pose the whole time. Imagine trying to push the belly button right through the lower back. Now we can start like this, and if you want, you can move into headstand from here. So you can either, if you feel comfortable, you can just keep your hands where they are. The backs of the hands flat to the ground. Walk your feet towards you again. This is for more people who are more advanced and who are seasoned and who know how to do the pose. Bring the left foot one foot all the way back, the foot hanging towards the seat. Bend the toes back, flex your foot, push into the wrist, take a half breath in, and see if you can take the other foot up. You can keep your right knee bent, keep your legs bent so your feet stay close to the ground or close to the body. Get better balance this way. So if that's too much of your hands like that, separate your hands a little bit more beyond the edge of the mat. Come onto your fingertips. Your arms are more than 90-degree angle. Okay, so you have a big, wide triangular base. It makes it easier to balance. And then come up. Those of you who feel comfortable here can maybe peel one finger up off at a time, eventually just on the very tips of your index fingers. So experiment with whatever you feel comfortable, and once you find the form where you can find yourself and stay in steadiness, you can, if you feel comfortable, you can close your eyes. Bring your attention to the space between your eyebrows. Leave the body by itself. If you're always struggling to just try to keep the balance and steadiness, just come back to a place where you find it. No judgment as to where that is. Make your way down with control and come back into child's pose. Breathe in, breathe out, soften everything, relax. And roll your way up. Now from here, you can try something. Coming into headstand with your arms, like you're doing, you're sitting on your forearms. Make sure your elbows are not too wide. Okay, it should be closer, about the, maybe a little bit, like just about a little bit less than shoulder width apart. And then your hands just on either side of the head, so it looks like moose antlers. Okay, eventually, if you like, you can stay like this, or if you push into your arms, you can see if you can lift your head up off the ground. Okay, you want to really anchor down through the form. So just demonstrate here. You can do this against in front of the wall as well. So you make sure your seat is on the heels, and so when you come up, you can place a foot easy on the wall with your knee bent. Okay, so from here, make sure Bring your seat all the way back on your heels. Make sure you can take your opposite elbows easily. And don't move your elbows. Bring your hands forward, and then you can bring your head down between your wrists. Lift one leg up. So I'm doing on a wall. If I'm doing on a wall, climb up the wall and bring one foot, the front foot to the wall, and then eventually peel the other foot back all the way. Now you can stay like this, if this is where your comfort level is. Eventually, you push into your arms, you hold your breath, and then see if you can push your head up. All it takes is just lifting your head, tilting it forward like you're about to transition, coming through into your cobra from your child's pose. Same type of action. Just bring the top of that down and then tilt your head up. Look towards your fingers. If you feel uncomfortable with this, if you don't have a wall in hand near you either, then you can just stay with your head on the ground. Keep your feet flexed so that you keep your legs engaged, keep your muscles engaged, stay in your pose. And then come down. Slowly press into your arms. Come down softly if you can. All the entrances, holds and exhales, all fluid and quiet. Take a deep breath in, child's pose. Exhale, remove all fatigue. And roll your way up, find your way onto your back. Shalvingasana. So a more easy way to get into this is to sit at the front of the mat and then roll back, tuck your chin in, shinch your arms and send your feet behind your head. You try to walk your shoulders back a little bit so you can get your hands together behind your back. So that from the front, you can't see your arms at all. And then you place your hands on your mid-back so your seat comes over your shoulders. And then from here, see if you can lift your legs up. Even if you stay in a tuck, it's all good. Eventually you can come up in a straight line. Or Ardha Shalvingasana with your hips back a little bit, your body angled, your legs are a little bit, your feet behind your head. So do according to your condition. If you do the full pose, you can also, if you have a lotus, consider going to lotus. Use your hands to help if you need to. And then if you're in lotus, you try to push your knees up higher than your hips. If you can come right onto your shoulders, you can bring your hands to your thighs, whether your legs are straight or in lotus. Come right on top to your shoulders. Once you're in the pose, find stillness again. Leave the body alone. The less the body moves, the more the mind has a chance to come into stillness. It is said that in all beings, the Soham consciousness runs strong, which means I am you, you are me. Just try to imagine that resonating through your body. Tap into that consciousness that we are all one with God. You only have to look within. Now from here you can do Pindasana if you have a lotus. Slowly bring your legs down, your knees close to your shoulders. If you know how to take the bind, go ahead, you wrap your arms around the outside of the legs and you join your hands underneath your seat. If you don't have a lotus, you come into plow. Bring your feet back down behind your head. If your feet don't come all the way, you can see if you can push into your back a little bit. See if you can get your hips over your shoulders and your feet might come closer, or maybe even right on the ground. Don't force the point where you can't really breathe when you're in a pose. Make sure that you can still have a breath to pass. And if you like, you can drop your thighs against your body and knees come onto your shoulders. So maybe eventually on the ground. Bring your hips way forward. So you're trying to get your seat over your chin. Listen carefully. This is an option if you don't have any shoulder or neck issues. If you're getting comfortable, you can walk your feet over towards your left and drop your left knee down beside your shoulder. If you can, you bring your right knee down beside it. So you're going to twist. You can stay here, or if you want, you can push into your left shoulder, tuck your chin in, and roll all the way up. Uncoil and come into camel if you like. Lean back and bring the right hand to the right heel, left hand to the left heel. Push your chest up, the head goes back. And if you've watched Dharma G's classes, you know this movement. You're free to do this. If that sounded all confusing to you, just stay and plow. Now you want to come back the same way. So you walk your hands back onto your seat, come back into hare pose. You bring your forehead down in front of your knees, your left shoulder down in front of your left knee. And then you tuck your chin into your chest, you push into your left shoulder off the toes and come back into plow pose. And then walk your feet over to your right. What we did on your left, you have to do on the right now. So you can drop your right knee down right beside your shoulder on the outside. And see if you can get your right knee down beside it. You can stay like this in your twist, or you can bring your left hand beside your left side of the head if you like. Push into your hand, and then push off your shoulder and come up into camel. And then again, lean back, hands on the feet, come into camel, and then right back. So this time, you bring your head down, you land your right shoulder in front of your right knee. Keep your chin tucked in, push off your right shoulder, and then back into your plow pose. You should land roughly in the same spot as you started. Now from here, we're coming back into getting ready for fish. Take your hands behind your back, everyone, thumb tips and index fingers touching, and then slowly bring your body down. The legs stay close to the body as you come down, but then when your seat lands on your wrists, keep bringing your legs down until about halfway down, 45 degrees. And then lift your trunk up the ground, upper body. You look like a V shape here. Now here, move your elbows in a little bit more. Feel comfortable here. Keep your legs up, push your chest up, and see if you can bring the top head to the ground. If it's too much, you bring your legs down. Now try to get your heart up higher. Fast, you get back. Breathe very fast and nose like a sniffing dog. Keep going with your breath. Those who want to do the full flying fish pose, bring your hands out from underneath, your hands over your legs, join together, hands together in front of your thighs. Same angle as the legs. Resume normal breathing. Bring your heels down onto the ground on either side, just in line with your hips. Stay on the top of the head, but then lift your seat up and place your hands beside your head, fingertips facing away, just in front of your head on either side. Slide your head back a little bit closer to the feet, and then turn your hands around so the fingers are facing towards the toes, a little bit to the outside as well. You can stay in Ardha Urdhva Dhanurasana like this, with the head on the ground. Or push into your hands, take a half breath in and lift your head up. Now if this is too much, stay in bridge pose. The back of the head and the shoulders on the ground. So again, modify as you need to. Those you in Urdhva Dhanurasana can maybe rock back and forth, try to get your chest in front of your arms. So you're trying to touch the wall in front of you with your chest. Stretch. And lower out of the pose. Come back down. Relax on your back for a moment. Legs extend. Breathe in. Breathe out all fatigue. Good. Now stay here. If you need to, you can slide your left foot in slightly. And the knees, those knees pointing up. And bring your right leg up, take hold of the ankle and bring the knee onto the shoulder. Now tug on the foot, try to get your foot closer to the head. If you feel comfortable at this point, you can stretch your left leg out again. If you're very flexible, you can see if you can try to get your foot down to the ground beside your body. So allow your leg to slip out to your right a little bit, and see if you can get your knee will come into the armpits, and you try to get your toes to the ground. And from here, bend the leg, the heel over the knee, and bring your knee down just alongside the body. Half happy baby pose. Hold the foot from the outside, the foot, elbows beside the knee. And then from here, those of you who can take your shoulder in front, your arm in front of the leg, so the back of the arm is pressing down on the back of the leg. And just move your shoulder up close to the back of the knee and push up against the knee. Try to get your knee up higher, close to the ear. And slide your left foot in if you need to. From here, those of you who want can try to take your leg behind your head. So you bring your upper body up, you pull the foot towards your left, and you try to tuck your chin in so you can get your foot behind your head. So it sometimes helps bring your left knee into your body and just wiggle, keep wiggling. Those of you who have the full pose, go ahead, cross your feet, you pull your feet further back, and you slip your head in front of your legs, your feet. Okay, and then you can either have your hands in prayer or bind them underneath your back. This again, for advanced practitioners who know what they're doing, can go ahead. Now, you can stay there in Yoga Nidra if you have the full pose. Otherwise, release and try it on the other side. So bring the left leg up. Bring your knee to the shoulder. Take hold of the ankle and pull on the ankle. Slide your right foot in if you need to release your hamstrings a little bit more. So you can stretch the left leg a little bit more. Pull the foot towards the head. At any point, if you feel comfortable, slide your right foot out. Go ahead, and if you can, those who have the flexibility can try to bring your left foot to the ground beside your head. Keep extending through the right heel. And then bend your knee, come into half happy baby pose. So if you're in Yoga Nidra, you can do the reverse. So you can come back to one leg behind the head first. So you're doing a reverse order. You come back into half happy baby. Those of you who want, at this point, you can take your shoulder in front of your leg and push against the back of the knee. Tuck your chin in and see if you can raise your shoulders up, peel your shoulders up off the ground. Tuck your chin in and see if you can get your, pull on your foot towards the right so you get your leg behind your head. If you're doing reverse order, if you start from Yoga Nidra, you can now extend your leg coming into like sort of an upside down Hanumanasana. Try to bring your foot to the ground beside your head. Or take an ankle grasp, knee on the shoulder. Then release. Bring the left foot back down. Relax. Breathe in. Breathe out. Raise your arms up overhead. Come to seated position. Good. Now from here, cross the ankles. Place your hands down. Step into plank and lower onto the belly. Start with your forehead on your stacked hands. Hands one on top of the other. Just shimmy a little bit, just rock from side to side on your hips. Imagine that you're just a snake trying to slither itself out of its old skin. Then bring the feet together, inner sides of the feet together, and then hands in line with your wrists in line with your shoulder, your chest actually, your heart. Roll the shoulders back and make your way into Cobra. Slowly coming up. Bring your chest forward, your head back, form a C shape with your spine. And keep pushing your hands, straighten your arms. Now if it's too much, you can stay in space pose. And you can take hold of the edges, front edges of the mat, and pull on the edges of the mat. And your shoulders underneath your elbows underneath the shoulders. And you can stay like this. Eventually come tugging on your mat, and eventually you can maybe lift your elbows up. Keep pulling on your mat as you bring your head back. Stay a little bit longer. If you're getting more flexible, you can come onto your fingertips. Try to bring them right close to your hips. Open up your legs a little bit more. Again, try to feel so you can fold your body in half. The hinge is at the top of your thighs, where the legs join onto your legs, your hips. Separate your feet, and then bring your toes up towards your head. You want to imagine you're squeezing socks behind your knees. Keep pushing at your fingertips. Pull the body up and back. Eventually, maybe, if you're, you might be able to eventually get your toes to the head. And then release. Bring the feet back down if you're in King Cobra. And make your way down. Relax again. Forehead on the hands. Breathe in. Breathe out. Bend your knees, bring the heels towards the seat. Dhanurasana. Take hold of the ankles. Lift up through the chest. And then if you can either keep your thighs on the ground, just push your heels of your feet away from the rest of your body. If you can, you tug on your feet and try to get your thighs up off the ground. Pull the shoulders back. Make sure you continue to breathe. Don't hold the breath. You keep on pulling your feet. Eventually, if you pull a lot, you can maybe get your legs straighter. Your feet come over your head. Eventually, see your toes. Perhaps. If you can't, don't worry about it. They're still there. Stay in pose. Surrender to the pose. And pull on the heels, the feet, bring them back towards the seat and release. Breathe in. Breathe out. Bring your hands underneath the shoulders. Press up. Back into seated position. And bring your legs out in front. We do Ardha Matsyendrasana, or the half version of the so if you want, you can bring your left leg forward, your knee in front of your body, and your foot comes the outside of the right side of the seat. Your left foot comes over to the other side of your right foot comes over to the other side of the left thigh, close to the knee. If you can't get both sides of the seat grounded, you just keep your left leg extended. You move your right foot out a little bit further beyond your knee. Right hand right down the center of the back against the back. Left arm up. And then bring your left arm against the outside of the right thigh. Inhale, push the lower back up and in. Push the knee against the shoulder and then turn to the right. Turn your chest all the way around. If you can, start the twist at the base of the hips. Try to imagine you can see the spine spiraling upwards. And then maybe this will allow the body to turn a little bit more. Eventually your chin comes over your shoulder. And maybe your chest is facing a little bit towards the back as well. And then release, go to the other side. Right leg extends, left foot on the outside of the right leg, or if you can, your full Ardha Matsyendrasana. Your foot on the outside of the left hip. Right arm up, inhale, reach up and take hold. Press the forearm against the outside of the left thigh. Inhale, push the lower back up and in. Turn to the left. If you know variations with bind, you can go ahead. Some of you might like to thread the arm underneath the left leg and bind your hands behind your back. You know
all the variations, you may go ahead. Just always try to go to the edge of your potential. If you never take that chance, then you never make progress. So just be willing to progress. Do it in a way that you feel comfortable, that the mind doesn't send the mind into a state of utter distress and anxiety. Then release. Make your way onto your back. Just resting in Shavasana for a little bit. Make your way down. Lie on your back. Just surrender completely to relaxation. It is the best antidote for removing impurities. So imagine on the inhale, you're gathering up all the tension in your body, all the impurities wherever they reside in the body. Collect them all up on the inhale. Exhale, just funnel them right out of the body into the ground. Be rid of it. Inhale again, repeat. Collect any impurities, any negativity also, mental, physical, emotional negativity in whatever form they exist. Exhale, just send it through the funnel out of the body into the ground. And one more time, do this again. Inhale, draw everything that you don't desire to keep within you that is preventing you from finding contentment and realizing full potential. Exhale, let it all go. Drain it out of the body. And now you have more room to open up to all the gifts that are incoming. So now on the inhales, feel yourself flooded in. Feel all the benefits flooding in. Open up the gates, allow it all to come in. Be receptive to it. Send it right to the spiritual heart, the residing place of God. On the exhale, imagine it just going to all beings everywhere. For God resides in all beings equally. Whatever you have, share with others. Do this again 2 more times. Inhale, flood yourself with all the incoming benefits that come to you as a result of offering up the practice. Exhale, send it out to all beings. Through that divine connection, we all share that common thread that ties us together, which is God. One more time. Inhale. Bring it all in. The best of the best universe. Everything that you need. Bring it right to the spiritual heart. And on the exhale, feel it going out to all beings everywhere. Not just the family and your friends and your pets, all beings. The sign of self-realization is when we see sameness in everything, where we have unconditional love for all beings. And now set that intention in your mind of finding that compassion, exercising it towards all beings. For we were once there, we had to pass through all the forms as the purpose of the practice of asana, to experience all forms. And then you grow to love each and every one, where you see their divine qualities. Each one just a divine manifestation of God in their own unique way. Now let's exercise now in our daily lives. Prepare to come back from Shavasana in a way that is mindful, is gentle and quiet. Come back to seated position. And again, in acknowledgement of all forms, love all beings, see God in all beings. Oh. receptive to the grace of God. All is within. Thank you so much for joining. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.